here's a problem. We've got a Pioneer SPH DA120 fitted by the previous owner, and I've just had a play with it, but it's really unstable. Having problems connecting to the AirPlay, problems connecting to Bluetooth, and it's causing me no end of problems. I think I found out what the problem is. What you'll see here is when you look at firmware, when you scroll down, looking at the maintenance side, system information, firmware information, and it says it's running 1.16. Now when you look at the Pioneer website, it should be running 1.19. When you go back and try and install Firmware Update, there's no section there, it's grayed out. And the reason for that is you need to have a connection to the handbrake, because what happens is you've got the handbrake on, and that makes sure that you can't look at any videos or anything like that whilst you're driving, which makes sense, but also you can't do the firmware update. Now the problem is the handbrake is all the way down here, so I'd have to run a cable underneath, which I don't want to do. So what I've actually done a bit of research on the internet. I found this device, cost me £11 off eBay, and it's 3 wires that I'm going to go and install and hopefully get it working. So the head unit's out. This isn't my wiring, by the way, I've just inherited it. So the green wire we're looking for is this one, and you'll see it's attached to the reversing light indicator. So that's the green one we need. Then we need the blue amplifier, so we've got this one here, and then we need earth, so we're going to use the black wire, which is this one here, which comes at the back of the stereo. So for the green one, I'm just going to use simple bullet connections like that. For the amp, I've got a spade connector, and for the black wire I'm using one of these T crimps. So with the T connection, looks like someone's already made an attempt to connect a wire, so I'm just going to put that T connector in now, give it a bit of a press, clip it down, and then just using a pair of pliers, give it a gentle squeeze, and that should give you a nice clean connection. And in here, what I do, use a spade connector to connect the wire into there. So it's just a simple way of connecting the wires. So we've got black into the ground. I'm going to connect the blue into the amplifier. So that's the blue into the amplifier. And I'm going to connect green to green that I connected earlier. Make sure you've got a decent connection going in there. I'm going to tape them up anyway. Right, so that's the head unit. Let's switch it on. So now, when we go to settings module, scroll down, system information, we now have firmware update. So now I can update the firmware, and I'll show you how to do that. So now you just go onto the Pioneer website. I'm in the UK, so I'm on the EU website. Click on support, type in your model number, SPH, in my case it's the -120. DA120, search, and now you've got basically your manuals, software update, and obviously register your product. We don't need to do that. So I've got software and firmware update. I'm now going to click on firmware update, and you've got download firmware update and download the instructions. So if you click on download firmware update, that's now into the downloads folder. And what you need to do is you need to copy that folder from your downloads into a clean USB stick. Okay, so it needs to be properly formatted. There should be no other documents or photos on there. It needs to be a clean USB stick. So once that's downloaded to your USB stick,
then you can download it and add it to the back of your head unit.
Okay, so now I've got the software downloaded on my USB stick, and I'm going to update the firmware. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take out the USB extension. I just don't trust it. So we're going to use USB 1, which is the top, slot that in to the head unit, and we're going to power the unit up. And now back to settings. We're going to scroll down to firmware, system information, that firmware update. Okay, and then begin continue. So there you go. So you've got a firmware update ready to go, and we're going to start. And it's going to do its thing. And that can take about anything up to 10 minutes depending on how old your software is. Okay, so let's turn it on. When we go to settings, scroll down, system information, firmware information, we now have 1.19 result. So let's see if it all works. Usual message, and now you've got all your CarPlay stuff working, got your music, and you can play everything through the music. The iPod's working, maps, uploads, and you can play all your music, much more controlled now, less buggy, and everything working properly now. Fantastic. So nice quick fix. There we go, guys, that's another job done. So if you've got the same problems with your Pioneer head unit, be it SPH or AVIC, then you know what the problem is, and it's a really nice simple £10 fix. So something you can do yourself, 3 wires, which is nice and easy. So I hope that was useful. Stay tuned, because in the next video I'm going to be showing you how to install a reversing camera for the head unit on your T5. Stay tuned, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.